Alright, so I want to do something nice for you lot. Something special. But I need your input, so let's get straight to the question. Which one of these guns should I give away to you guys? Airsoft GI, with all their awesomeness, are letting you guys pick which one of these three classic armies I should be giving away in a raffle. An X9, an M110, or a double-barrel DT4. So if you want to have some input on the decision on what's given away, then go and head on over to the USAirsoft Facebook, that will be linked in the description, or just vote on the poll I put up in the community tab on my channel. Think of this as Airsoft GIs and my gift to you for my birthday. Voting ends 3 days after this video goes up, and updates on when the raffle will begin will be posted on my Facebook, Instagram, and on the community page. Sounds good? I hope so. Okay, now let's get into the review. Let this be known, I suck. Alright, great start. I've been told that I can knock some videos way out of the park, but yet I film a review on a legendary gun that a lot of people would like to see again, and I just dumped the footage on my computer without opening up the file ever again to actually make a review out of it. And like I said, I know that people would like to see this gun reviewed once again, as if it hasn't been over and over again by everyone else and their pet tarantula named Max, and yet it's been 6 months since I filmed this, so I guess now's a better time than never. Let's break off a piece of Airsoft history by saying this. The KWA KMP9 is a legend that will always be a legend. The KWA MP7 will almost always be more popular, but that's like saying that the sun isn't big since Sirius is larger. This is the KWA KMP9, and to a lot of people, the trash is your new home if you can't respect what this SMG has done in the airsoft world. This is a gun that still sells out to this day, that was made so long ago, and is still produced and shown off at SHOT Show by KWA every year. KWA admittingly isn't as huge as they once were a couple years ago, much like how skateboarding has become, but once we bring up the KWA MP7 and KMP9, the memories and legends just come rolling back once again. So for this video, we'll be reviewing the KWA KMP9, which is sponsored by Airsoft GI, who sent me to the GI Tactical Store in Plano, Texas, so I could make this review. This is where I found both of these SMGs that I vividly remember being one of the most popular secondaries in Modern Warfare 2 in the form of the TMP. And these two guns sold pretty quickly after I finished filming them, which is no surprise. But we start this review off where we always begin with the unboxing of this now famous KWA englazed cardboard box that wraps around the styrofoam insert, which holds everything together inside. Like this roughly 2-pound 48 round green gas magazine, which could be used as a freaking club if you needed it to. This is not a cheaply made magazine by any means. Next we have some goodies that will go well with this gas blowback, like a bottle of silicone oil. That is something I greatly appreciate seeing in the box. We also get a small wrench that will be used to adjust the hop-up of the KMP9. And we get a small bag of KWA BBs that are alright to use, but won't last you very long. Then after putting these to the side, we have the KWA KMP9 itself. Now right away before we get into this, I like for it to be known that this replica can be had in many different colors like Ranger Gray, OD Green, and even Dark Earth like this model. And that you can either get a model with a vertical grip or a rail like this model, which is known as the KMP9R, with the R representing that this one has a rail of course. However, all of these models seen right here share the same cost at about $210. As for this KMP9 right here, we have a roughly 4.7 pound piece made from high density polymer and metal. The metal parts are made of the large flash hider that will act as an amplifier when firing the KMP9, giving this gun its signature sound. Then we have the controls that are also made from metal, like the side rail up front. Up front, like I mentioned, we have a flash hider / amplifier. The sound this compact weapon will give off will definitely give you away if you're planning on being sneaky with this gun. And that's coming from my experience when I go up against players with a KMP9. However, if you would like to change that up, you can always add on a compatible suppressor made by Angry Gun / ASG that comes with a Type 4 barrel extension. Equipping this will jump your FPS to the mid 500s with the benefit of added range, so be sure to keep that in mind. You won't be able to use any other standard suppressors with this SMG, so customization can be a little limiting with this model without any aftermarket mods made. However, for CQB games with the right low power CQB bolt or a DangerWorks low power flute valve to drop the FPS to sub 350 readings, the KMP9 is one of the most fun guns to use, and that's also speaking from experience. On the right side, we do get this metal rail on all of the models that can be used for lasers or flashlights that would combo very well with this platform when it comes to CQB games. Up top, we get another Picatinny rail made from the same high impact polymer as the rest of the body is made out of. You can go ahead and feel free to throw any sight you'd like to on here if you're not into the non-adjustable iron sights. I personally think that the rear sight is pretty good for us airsofters, but the front sight can get lost pretty fast in darker areas as it doesn't quite stand out as much as I'd like for it to. But a holographic sight, a reflex, or even a T1 aimpoint sight will definitely fix this problem. Onto the very rear, we have the plastic folding stock that will lock into place on the right side of the gun when you snap it into place. This stock may be comfortable to some people out there, like it is for me, but it's not as well built as the adjustable one on the MP7. Or at least that's just my opinion. But it is pretty easy to fold over with just a push of a button. As for the controls, the KMP9 is pretty easy to work with a crossbolt dictating your fire selection from semi to full auto. You don't have a manual safety though, as this replica features a trigger safety, but it can be deactivated by simply pulling the trigger properly. If you've ever driven a Honda Civic, if you've ever used a Glock, then you know what I mean. Then on the left side, we have the magazine release that will drop your beefy metal magazine freely as to be expected. And you do get your bolt release right here. The KMP9 will lock back on an empty magazine, so this bolt release will be pretty handy unless you just use the T-handle charging handle that any M4 user will be familiar with. Truthfully, the KMP9 is a really simple gun to use, besides maybe the field strip that took me some researching on YouTube to figure out how to do. The control layout is just pretty easy to work with, so I definitely recommend the KMP9 so far. I can easily see someone with 4 or 5 magazines just going to town in CQB with this. Every shot will make a good amount of noise, and gas blowback guns are always fun to use. My ideal setup would be a black KMP with a flashlight connected to the side rail, a holographic sight on top, and a CQB bolt inside. But I wouldn't add on a suppressor because that would just add on length that I really don't need. Gas consumption was also really good at about 70 shots with a single gas fill thanks to the new System 2 or the NS2 parts inside the KMP9. Nothing I really say here will grow the KMP9's reputation any more than what it's already grown to. These things still sell out at a lot of places, and despite their age, they can still outperform a lot of other gas guns on the market that should have made this gun pretty obsolete if you ask me. The KWA trademarks might not be the best to some critics out there, but the build construction externally is very good. Gas consumption and magazine size is great at about just 2 BBs shy of 50 rounds. Controls are simple and the fun factor is way up there. And that's not bad for a gun that came out in 2010. At the chronograph, I got a high of 405 feet per second with a 0.2 gram BB and a low of 362. I'd really recommend you use heavier BBs like 0.28 gram BBs with this gun, but either way, you're not going to be able to take this gun right from the box into most CQB games. Unless you're playing somewhere like Russia, where they pretty much just beat the teeth out of each other in every game. Some of the stories that I hear about how Airsoft is played there are pretty brutal. As if Rob Zombie decided to direct an action movie. The rate of fire, despite my chronograph having a really hard time reading it on full auto, is recorded at about 22 rounds per second. That's a rate of fire that would be a bit impressive to see coming from a stock AG. It's not a 40 RPS laser beam of, "Hey, burn my patch," but it's respectable in its own right. Sadly though, I wasn't able to really show this SMG's true potential at range, so be sure to list a couple of other reviews in the description that you can go and watch to get even more info than what you'll end up hearing here. For my final thoughts, I like to look at all the pros that I've listed compared to the very few cons that I have heard about the KMP9. Taking the gun down quickly is a pain, as it's a process that demands some tools. The FPS is a little too high for CQB games right away, which explains why the CQB bolt is the most common upgrade or downgrade part purchased for this platform. And that's it for the cons that I can really list, but I'm sure that longtime owners in the comments can chime in more with their personal experiences. If you like the low price, the big magazines, the high rate of fire, and the gas consumption, then go ahead and check out the links in the description to send you off to airsoftgi.com. I'll even have a link to the MP7 I mentioned earlier. And be sure to ask whatever questions you may have in the comments, and spank that like button if you enjoyed this review, as it really helps me out. My review may not be as legendary as this gun. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's not as legendary as this gun, but I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'd like to shout out these past sexy commenters for always showing their support. The notification squad is also welcomed whenever they show up. And don't forget to check out the polls for the giveaway that I'll be doing with Airsoft GI, because I really want to be sure to give away the most popular gun. Besides all that though, I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope that you have an awesome day and or night. But until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I will be sure to see you all next time. I love the trigger on this gun. Alright, so let's see how fast this thing can end a 20 round magazine. It can do that quite well. Full auto KWA KMP9s. It's just right. That's way too much fun. Yeah, they're pretty cool. The era. What was this guy's actually written? It's kind of a unique design. This is what the Italians are using for their military search.